In the heart of Surulere, Lagos, hidden between rows of crumbling colonial homes and overgrown compounds, stood a house no one wanted to claim. Number 44, Bode Thomas Street, tall, grey, quiet, and cursed. People rarely looked directly at it. Children whispered about it. Market women swore on their lives that it wasn't just haunted, but wicked. A cursed place. The house was not always empty, but it was never full for long. Every tenant who had dared live there left within days, some in the dead of the night, others in pieces. The story was always the same. 3 knocks, loud, measured, deliberate, always at exactly 3 a.m. And if you opened the door, no one lived long enough to describe what was on the other side. The mystery of the house had become legend, part urban myth, part taboo. Even the government refused to demolish it. The cement doesn't hold, the workers said. Bulldozers spoil overnight. It was as if the house wanted to remain. And it did. Then came Pastor Jonah Ekweme, a self-proclaimed prophet from a church in Mushin with a loud voice and a louder faith. Pastor Jonah believed no evil could stand before the light. Without fear, without prayer, and against his wife's terrified pleading, he packed a few personal belongings and moved into number 44. The neighbors watched from their windows in hushed disbelief. He played gospel music all day. He walked around shirtless, splashing oil on the walls, shouting scripture until the birds fled the trees. He even invited local journalists to film his arrival. "I will not just survive this place," he said, smiling into the camera. "I will cast out whatever lies with it." That night, the house was quiet. Too quiet. Not a creak, not a groan. Even the rats were still. At 2:45 a.m., Pastor Jonah sat in his living room, reading the Psalms aloud, but still his heart beat harder than usual. Then exactly at 3 a.m., it came. 3 knocks, not rushed, not tentative, firm, measured, like someone who knew they would be let in. Jonah stood, hand trembling, Bible gripped so tightly, his knuckles turned white. He stepped to the door and flung it open with a shout, "Get thee behind me, Satan!" But no one was there. Just darkness, deep and wet and humming. But what chilled him most wasn't the silence. It was the smell. Earthy, metallic, like fresh blood on hot iron. He slammed the door and backed away. "It's only intimidation," he muttered. "Tricks of the devil." By sunrise, he had convinced himself nothing had happened. But he didn't sleep. He called for backup. Sister Nkem, a prophetess from Benin, Elder Amos, an old soldier turned preacher, Deacon Ruth, fire-tongued and fearless, and Dami, the youngest but devout and bright. "We will cleanse this land," Pastor Jonah said. "Tonight, we host a vigil." By 9 p.m., the house throbbed with prayer. The walls shook with tongues of fire. Until 3 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks, louder than before, deeper. The front door rattled. Then the generator died. The lights blinked out. Candles snuffed themselves. The Bluetooth speakers hissed and began playing static, laced with distant screaming. Sister Nkem screamed first. She pointed at the ceiling. A shape was crawling upside down along the beams. It had no head, no skin, just a long open mouth stretched across his chest. Elder Amos dropped to the floor, vomiting blood, thick, clotted, spurting blood. Brother Uche's eyes rolled back. Evangelist Dami ran for the door, but it wouldn't open, no matter how he pulled. The door refused to move. The spirit was inside now. The knocks were just permission. The lights flickered back on, and Dami was gone. In his place stood only a trail of red footprints leading towards the basement door. By morning, Deacon Ruth was catatonic. Elder Amos lay in a coma. Only Pastor Jonah and Sister Nkem remained coherent enough to move. But Jonah still refused to leave. "This is not the end," he whispered. "This is just the devil's resistance." That afternoon, he found a hidden drawer beneath the stairs. Inside was a diary soaked in mildew and dried blood. It belonged to a young girl named Ifoma, dated 1963. She had lived in the house with her parents, happy, normal, until the knocking began. She wrote about a pale man with black fingers and red teeth who came every night at 3 a.m. She opened the door once, thinking it was her father. Her next diary entry was erratic, scribbled, slashed in parts. She said her parents vanished into the walls. She said the man told her he would knock forever until others came. The final page was stained with dried tears. She wrote just 3 words: "Don't open door." That night, Pastor Jonah went alone into the basement, armed with only a flashlight and his Bible. The smell was worse there, thick and sour. The walls were covered in claw marks, nails, teeth. There were bones, some fresh, some ancient, and symbols. Like they'd been broken and reassembled backwards. Perverted. Then he saw it on the far wall, burnt into the concrete. "We knock to be let in." He stumbled back, bile rising in his throat. Suddenly, the flashlight flickered and the knocks came again, by this time from inside the basement. Knock, knock, knock. He turned and there it was, lips stretched from ear to ear, no eyes, just darkness in its sockets. Jonah screamed, but no one will ever hear him again. Days passed, the neighbors noticed the silence, then the stench. And number 44 remains, painted over, re-advertised. House for rent, 3-bedroom duplex, renovated. The landlord tells new tenants not to worry about the rumors. Old wives' tales, he laughs. Only superstition. But some nights, deep in the Lagos silence, if you stand on the right street and listen closely, you will hear it. Knock, knock, knock. Always at 3 a.m. Always waiting. And once you hear it, it will follow you. Even now, maybe tonight, you'll hear it too.